Welcome everyone, my name is Joanna and here you can find support in healing your insecure attachment style. Today we'll talk about core wound I am bad, which is very common for people with disorganized attachment style. Also the other name for this style is fearful avoidant. In our healing journey, when we are trying to become more secure and show up in the relationships, especially romantic relationships, in a secure way, and we no longer want to experience the drawbacks, the unpleasant consequences of our insecure attachment style, we have to work on making things which are unconscious conscious. And when it comes to core wounds on our attachment, core beliefs we stored in our subconscious mind about who we are, they become part of our identity. This process is necessary for us to become more secure, because these core beliefs, this identity, these core wounds are keeping us in our insecure attachment patterns. So what patterns can we experience because of core wound, core belief stored in our subconscious mind, which is I am bad? Usually when we see ourselves bad, when we believe on a deeper level that we are bad, when we think of ourselves that we are bad, we will over and over try to prove to others that we are good or innocent. So we may be very defensive at moments. We will have tendency to people please. We will not be authentic in our relationships, and we will carry a lot of guilt and shame around everything what shows up in the relationship, and we perceive that the negative things which are showing up in the relationship are our fault. So I have a list of things we want to be first aware. So we consciously, when we ask ourselves, do I have this core belief I am bad? Do I think of me as I am bad? Probably the answer will be no. But in the subconscious mind, on the subconscious level, this core wound is a part of our insecure attachment style, the fearful avoidant, and it shows up through that either unconscious way we build the relationships, we show up in the relationship, like I mentioned, being people-pleasing, being inauthentic, over-giving, over-apologizing, trying to earn approval. All of this will be related to our stored perception, our stored belief that we are bad. So when we work on this, when we are on the process of discovering the core beliefs in order to reprogram them, it's good to take this first step and take a time to observe self and see how this core wound probably is showing up in our life. So I have the list of potential manifestations of this core wound to help you better navigate and map out. And one of them will be perfectionism. So you will have a tendency to do everything perfect, so no one can disapprove you, no one can be disappointed at you. And also this perfectionism will be directed internally to you'll be trying to destroy badness in you. You will see tendencies of overcompensating, overgiving. You will see tendencies of over apologizing and feeling really awful, really being very you will beat yourself up in a sense mentally when you make a mistake. You will also have a tendency to control people's perception about you. So you will always try to show things which you know or you assume will be approved or admired, and you will accommodate to show up in a way you think they want you to show up. So you will have that tendency to create an image sometimes for everyone you know, because some people want you to be more this way, other people want you to be less this way, and you will be accommodating to that needs, to that requirements. Of course, it's all done unconsciously, subconsciously. You will also have a tendency to self-sacrifice and prioritize someone's pain, needs, and feelings. You will have very, very strong codependency patterns based on that. You will probably avoid responsibility, accountability. You have a tendency to avoid conflicts, to avoid challenging situations when you have to take responsibility, and you may have a tendency to be excessively private. Like you have a hard time when people will have questions which could reveal that you maybe made a mistake or you lied or something like that. You also, of course, like the result of all of this, you have generally poor boundaries, which is very common for fearful avoidance. You will take responsibility for people's emotions, which is the codependent pattern. You will suffer from anger, resentment, and sometimes self-destructive behaviors. Like you will have a tendency to punish yourself, either mentally, like your inner critic will be very, very active and shame you and criticize you, or you may have a tendency to abuse your body in a sense, like maybe working too much, or having like very extreme routine for gym or any other exercises. So you may have self-destructive behaviors towards your body and also mentally. You also feel guilty to receive. So once you will take the steps of observing yourself, looking for potential patterns coming from that core belief, that self-perception, and then checking, okay, if I am doing this, what are the drawbacks of this tendency, of this behavior, of my behavior, how this is negatively impacting me as a person in all areas of my life and my close relationships. This will help you to be on subconscious level motivated to reprogram that core wound, because every core wound, every belief from the subconscious level is seen as something good. And as long as and if you will not do any work to show our subconscious mind that this is harming us, we will keep operating from that belief. So in order to release that belief and no longer experience the patterns coming from that belief, we have to observe ourselves, and then we can move into belief reprogramming process, which is all about addressing these patterns, addressing these thoughts, addressing these behaviors, and no longer repeating them. And also on the belief level and thought level, making sure that inner critic, which I talked about on this channel before, is silent. This will be a very crucial step in working on that belief that you have regulated already in a set up relationship with your inner critic, and your inner critic no longer has a voice, no longer is in a superior position, acting like a boss and telling you, criticizing you and shaming you on a regular basis. So, on the belief level, what you can do to reprogram this core belief, which if you're consistent, and as scientists suggest, it should take you between 21 to 100 days. If you are really consistent, you want to point out proofs that you are kind, thoughtful, and inherently good every single day. So you're looking for how you are innocent, how you are kind, how you are good, how you are a good person. Then you want to also include reprogramming a belief about mistakes. So if you really take the suggestions from my video about inner critic, you will also no longer allow the critic to punish you, criticize you, and shame you for your mistakes. And now you will start treating mistakes as something which require correction, not punishment. So this is the mantra you will be repeating over and over: mistake require correction, not punishment. And you will be acting according to that mantra. So mistakes are part of life. They help to learn, grow. They are just stepping stones. There is something like human error. Human error is something natural and expected. Behind each mistake there is innocence. So you want to tell yourself these statements in order to no longer punish yourself for mistakes, because every time you do that, you reinforce the core wound: I am bad. Additionally, if you want to get even deeper insight on how this core wound is manifested and what are the patterns coming up from that, you can look at the how do you personally exactly punish yourself. So having more awareness around the way you punish yourself, you have a higher chance to work through that core belief, because the moment you will see that behavior or that thoughts, that punishment, you will know, I am right now doing that. I'm punishing myself. So obviously this core wound is activated, and now I have to correct my thoughts around the mistake. You can see how punishment doesn't fix anything. Like, you can review all these times you were punishing yourself severely, and still the mistakes occur in your life. You still commit them, you still make mistakes. So punishment doesn't actually fix anything. Another thing in your reprogramming process is that you can reprogram this core wound on emotional level. So you want to practice feeling of acceptance, unconditional love, forgiveness, understanding, compassion. And if you will every day set an intention to talk to yourself from the space of understanding, from the space of compassion, forgiveness, love, acceptance, if you be creating that internal dialogue based on that, and if you offer yourself every day something in any area of life based on that same that ground of forgiveness, understanding, compassion, and acceptance, you will reprogram this core wound very effectively. So these are a few steps you can start doing if you really want to work on that core wound and you see the consequences of that core wound in your life, in your relationships. Of course, the more you will be working also on the codependency patterns, on toxic shame, on your inner critic, the easier you will reprogram that core wound. So thank you for listening, and I hope this was helpful.